All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I am sorry, I had to change the day that I'm doing the live this week because my girls are both participating in a talent show, and I completely forgot that I guess I missed the communication that the talent show is going to be this Thursday at 12:15. So I had to change the date that I was doing this live training. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about my own personal journey. I feel like I haven't talked about that for a while. So I do want to talk about my own personal journey and how I built the body of my dreams in my 40s. I'm going to share the exact strategy that I used so that I can, share with you some of the knowledge, some of what I've done. For those of you that are watching live, I know last time I tried to do this, I'm just looking off to my phone here to the right. Like none of the comments were popping up. So if you think I was ignoring you, I was not ignoring you. But if you are watching live right now, please pop a hello in the comment section and hopefully I will see it. I'm just going to make a quick note here so that everyone in the community can see this right now. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my own personal journey and how I got to where I ultimately wanted to be. So I'm going to take it way back to the beginning. So, and I'm going to just share this crazy ride that took me from avoiding mirrors to a women's nutrition and fitness coach, published fitness model, fitness writer, and I'm also a business owner. So, I want to tell you, that was in the same boat that a lot of you guys are in. Right now, I've been overweight. I've been at a point where, I was hiding from my family and friends because I just don't want people to see me like this. I've been there. I'm walking around feeling like I was not myself anymore. I have been there as well too. And my history and relationship with food has taken me to some of the greatest highs and some of the darkest lows imaginable. In my 30s, I spent a lot of time focusing on my career. I had a sales job in my 30s. I was on the road a lot. So on the weekends, I spent a lot of time having drinks, which led to a lot of food, which is how some of my weight started creeping up on me during my 30s. And then shortly after I got married at 34, I got pregnant with my first daughter and I gained 40 pounds at that point, which I had hit over 200 pounds. And I wanted to have another baby and tried really desperately to get the weight off before I got pregnant again, but I didn't get it all off. And then I gained another 40 pounds with my second pregnancy. So before I knew it, I was out of shape. I felt insecure. I felt like I was living in someone else's body and I didn't feel like myself anymore. So desperate for a change, I started looking for the secret formula to lose weight fast. Okay. And I am probably in the same boat that a lot of you women are in right now, searching online, Googling how to lose weight, or listening to what other people are doing. And what I did research at the time was that eliminating carbs would be the way to lose weight. So I tried that. I did no bread, no pasta, no crackers, no carbs whatsoever. But that only lasted for a very short period of time because I started to get headaches and I did not feel well. Then after that, it was just an array of different diets like isogenics. I did that for a while where I replaced my meals for shakes. I did severe calorie restriction and I also did Weight Watchers. But when I did the meal replacement and the severe calorie restriction, the same thing would happen. Like I would lose 5 or 10 pounds, but then I would gain it back. And now I know why that would happen is because I was restricting my calories so much during the week that either when I came home at nighttime, I was binging, or on the weekend, I was binging. And so it was like just this perpetual cycle of like up and down weight loss and whatnot. So I also did dabble into Weight Watchers. And I did drop weight and I felt like I had accomplished something. But meanwhile, what I was realizing is that my metabolism in muscle mass were a nosedive. I was just yo-yo dieting up and down, trying to hit weight milestones with almost no consideration for what I was doing for a very important tissue in my body. So one day what happened is that I went to Dominican Republic. And I was constantly obsessing over the scale, like, oh my God, I need to get down. I need to get down on my weight. I need to get down on my weight. And when I got down to the scale the number on the scale that I wanted to see, I realized that what I saw in the body in the mirror was not really what I wanted to see. What I realized is that I was skinny fat. And it was a trip to Dominican and seeing myself in a bathing suit that I realized that I was just a smaller version of myself with no change in my physique. I had lots of belly fat, skinny legs, and skinny arms. I'm actually going to share this photo so you guys can see this and what I'm talking about. Okay. So I'm showing you an after photo because this is how this was what I wanted to look like and I did achieve. But this is how I look like with just focusing and on the scale number all the time. I just look like a skinnier version of my overweight self, meaning that I still had a lot of belly fat in my belly. My legs were really skinny. My arms were not toned or defined or anything like that. Can you guys see this? Yeah, you can. Okay, perfect. Nothing like that. And actually, the girl in the photo and behind, she looks really good. I remember her and her mom on this vacation, and I was looking at them thinking, wow, they look so amazing. Like they look so fit, so good. And it was at this point that I realized, like, I didn't look the way that I wanted to. And so it was at that point that I realized, okay, like I'm actually skinny fat. And even though I'm seeing this number on the scale, like I don't like the way my body composition looked like. So when I came back from that vacation, I realized, okay, something has to change. I knew that I wanted to look toned, defined, look great in my clothes, and build like a really nice hourglass shape. Because I talk about the hourglass shape because this is what I actually like have a waist here. Here I had no waist. You could see like I look far better in a bathing suit in my after photo that I just showed you ladies. Okay, I just want to see if there's any comments here that you guys are watching. But anyways, so that was like kind of like my realization that something had to change. So I spent the next year working with a coach who taught me how to get into the best shape of my life by eating lots of food and through progressive overload strength training. And so when I got into the best shape of my life in my 40s, I wanted to pay it forward by showing all the women that there is a sustainable way of losing body fat and getting the body that you desire. And I spent time earning certifications, working tirelessly to discover one simple fact, that you cannot build an hourglass body without having strong metabolic and hormonal health. Why? Because your metabolism is what decides whether you're going to lose body fat and build muscle, and your hormones impact your metabolism. So what we eat and how we move our bodies will impact our metabolisms. There is no simple calories in, calories out system that will work the same for all of us or even guarantee us some version of success. Once I realized that, everything really changed for me. And I began to think about how I could share my knowledge with other women over 40 who had been unwitting victims of the diet industry, just like I was. Other women who spent years feeling like a failure, blaming themselves for being weak or having no willpower. And I knew I had to help other muted myself. There we go. Suffering from their own poor relationship with nutrition and fitness. Okay. And I knew I had to make a real change, and not just for myself, but others. And that's when I began to develop the Frenza Fit Hourglass Body program, that I put together based on my own personal transformation and what I had learned through my own certifications. Okay. So I'm going to tell you the exact strategy that I use to get into the best shape of my life, and then the exact strategy that we use with all of our clients as well too. I've obviously tweaked a lot of these things as I've gotten older, as I'm in perimenopause right now as well too. I'm going through a lot of hormonal changes in my life because I'm low on a lot of the hormones that I had as a younger woman. So the approach works on ensuring that our metabolism is stress-free and running efficiently so it'll work effortlessly to let go of body fat. This critical approach allows the fat loss process to be easier because the internal mechanisms are running the way that it needs to. And it turns out that my approach works amazing because I had amazing results. I have never felt better, and I love how I look. I've even gotten published as a fitness model and was on the cover of multiple magazines from the physique that I have built. And I did this all in my 40s. Okay, ladies, I'm going to be 46 this year. So I'm eager to share my method with other women. And so let's get through that. Let's go through this. Okay. So first of all, like when I was trying to do things on my own, when I was working out on my own, I was doing YouTube videos. I was doing a lot of like abdominal workouts on YouTube and things like that, because that's how I thought I can get rid of my belly. And then I just kind of like downloaded some apps and started doing some workouts on the apps. But to be honest with you, I did that for a few months without seeing any real results. And the way, it wasn't until I actually started working with a coach that I started seeing results. Because number one, when I talk about metabolic health, what I'm talking about, ladies, is the amount of muscle we have on our body. Okay. And so when I was doing my weight loss journey, where I was just focusing on the scale and the scale number going down, I had lost a significant amount of muscle. Okay. And this is why a lot of women, when we just focus on weight loss, I'm going to show you here this picture again. This is why when I focus on weight loss, or if you focus on weight loss, you're losing so much muscle that you end up carrying more body fat on your body. And this is exactly what had happened to me. Like, even though I had lost weight, I had lost a significant amount of muscle. You can see like my legs are really skinny. I had like a very flabby, loose skin. That is an indication that I had lost a lot of muscle. And that impacted my metabolic health. That means that at rest, I was, when you lose that much muscle, that means that at rest, I'm burning less and less calories on my body. And so in order for you to look really toned and defined, it's important that we have muscle on your body. Okay. In order for us to change the body composition, meaning that we want to lower body fat and we want to increase muscle mass, we need to have muscle on our body. And that is initially what we do with all of our clients, especially if our clients have come to us where they have been dieting for a long period of time. Then we will put them through the first phase of our program, which is called our metabolic restoration phase. This is where we ensure your metabolism is running the way that it's supposed to be running. So there's a lot of things that encompass this phase, but primarily what we're doing is helping you eat in a way to make sure that we're building lean muscle mass. And we're also making sure that you're working out in a way that you're building lean muscle mass. And then in terms of stress on the body, because of our age, because we're over 40 and we are starting to lose, we're in that perimenopausal phase of our lives where we're starting to lose estrogen and progesterone levels. We also have to be very mindful of stress because we are very, very sensitive to stress. So during this initial phase, it's like trying to eliminate as much stress as possible. So fueling your body in a way that it needs to be fueled eliminates stress. The other thing that eliminates stress is like getting better quality sleep, sleeping more, doing more stress relieving activities, looking at your lifestyle and seeing like overall, how can we remove stress from the system? Our metabolism is like a stress barometer. So if we are putting a lot of stress on our metabolism, it is going to fight back, and it's going to be very resistant to losing body fat. So this is why we want to focus first on restoring that metabolic health, so that your body is going to be very responsive to fat loss afterwards. So number one, I ate in a way to ensure that I was building lean muscle. What does this mean? Enough protein in my diet. So at least 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight is ideal, or ideal body weight. So what that means, ladies, is if you're 180 pounds, and let's say your goal weight is 140 or 150 pounds, then you should be eating at least 140 to 150 grams of protein per day. And so for myself, that, like, I never had eaten that amount of protein before. And so by quickly changing that, that also helped boost my metabolism, because when our bodies digest protein, it actually burns more calories compared to carbohydrates and fats. So just by eating more protein, I'm boosting my metabolism. Then by eating more protein, this has now affected my body's ability to build lean muscle mass. So now I have all of the amino acids that my body needs to build lean muscle mass, okay? And so then in addition to that, I'm strength training, okay? I'm getting some good quality strength training program, not just random workouts. It was a strength training program that my coach designed for me, specifically for me and my fitness level and my training ability, to help me build lean muscle mass. And the only way that you can build lean muscle mass, ladies, is by doing progressive overload training. So this with compound movements, squats, deadlifts, rows, push-ups, shoulder presses, chest presses, pull-ups, hip thrusts. These are the 7 compound movements that need to be in your workouts. I wasn't doing these crazy metabolic, like I see a lot of these crazy metabolic workouts that, you know, I used to see on YouTube as well too, where we're like doing 2 moves at once, squats and dumbbells at the same time. Like, that is very metabolic, and it's not going to help you build lean muscle mass. We want to be, you know, doing workouts and exercises that is stimulating our bodies to build lean muscle mass. So when we train in this way, we are signaling to the body, let's build muscle, let's build muscle, let's build muscle. We're sending that signal. But then we also have to have nutritionally, we need to have the fuel for your body to build that lean muscle. So what ends up happening is that we are building up a very robust metabolism. At the same time, we're building up a lot of muscle, which means your body is now burning more calories at rest, okay? Now, once we've done that, then your body is an ideal place for fat loss, meaning that stress has been decreased overall to the body. We've spent some time building lean muscle mass. You know, you're sleeping better, you have more energy, you know, maybe less hormonal symptoms as well too. You know, your body is in a very like good state of homeostasis. Now we're ready to go into a fat loss phase. And that's exactly what I did. I spent time building up lean muscle first, which, by the way, if you're afraid of, like, a lot of women are like, oh, I don't want to eat more food because I'm going to gain weight. It's even if you put on a few pounds, it's muscle. Okay. And it's not a big deal because it will come off afterwards. But, you know, it's what your body really needs in order for your body to be very responsive to fat loss. Okay. And what ends up happening is that when we diet for a long period of time, ladies, you are tanking your metabolism. You are also losing so much muscle mass, which we're seeing a lot, especially for, you know, and I'm not against this. If you are someone who is taking Ozempic to lose weight, just know that is also tanking your metabolic health. It's no different than someone who's doing an extreme calorie restriction like Dr. Bernstein or Jenny Craig or these other places as well too. it's just with the GLP-1s, they are suppressing and slowing down your digestion. It's suppressing your hormone appetite, your hormone, your appetite hormone, so that you're not feeling hungry and you're just eating a very low amount of calories. Okay. But the same thing happens. You're losing muscle mass. You're losing, your metabolic potential. And this is where we see metabolic whiplash happening, which what I see often is that when you do it that way, it makes it very hard for your body to maintain those results afterwards. Okay. So what ends up happening is that, you gain the weight back afterwards. Whereas if we keep strong metabolic health and we build up your metabolism, your ability to hang on and maintain your weight loss afterwards becomes very easy to do that. So now that we've built up the metabolism, what I did next is I went into a fat loss phase. And what that means is during that fat loss phase, I went into a calorie deficit. I was still training with progressive overload training. And during this time, as I went into a calorie deficit, I was eating less calories. So there's maintenance calories. Maintenance calories means that this is the amount of calories your body needs to maintain where you're currently at right now, which because during that initial stage, I built up my metabolism and also my maintenance calories because I spent a few months building that lean muscle mass. And so then when I went into my fat loss phase and went into my calorie deficit, my body responded quite well. Okay. I was sleeping really well because I built up those habits. I made sure that I was meal planning and meal prepping every single week. I knew exactly what I was eating. I was following my plan, executing my plan. And I had really built up those habits in that first phase where I was building up my metabolism on meal planning, meal prepping, and following my nutrition protocol, so that when I went into my fat loss phase, it was, I was eating the same foods. I was just eating a smaller quantity of those foods. And guys, I didn't feel deprived. I was eating a lot of food, a lot of lean protein, a lot of whole ingredients. Okay. I was eating 80% whole foods. I still had some fun foods in there, like Rice Krispie squares every day, maybe some, a fun snack. I love jelly beans, and I also love gummies. So I have a fun snack in there every day. So I never felt deprived. And this is exactly what I do right now with our clients as well too. And then I leaned out, and my thing for me is that I wanted to celebrate my body transformation with a fitness photo shoot. So I basically went into a fat loss phase until I had reached my goal and I celebrated it with a professional photo shoot with Paul Becerra. And Paul Becerra is the chief photographer of Strong Fitness magazine. Now, when I did that professional photo shoot, I had submitted those photos to a magazine, and I actually got my first back cover of a magazine, which was in DeViro magazine, which I was really shocked that I had received that. And then, from there, it was at that point that I decided that I actually wanted to help other women and start my own business and start coaching women because of everything that I had gone to. I went from being overweight to trying all of these gimmicky things to finally figuring out okay, this is the actual solution to get the body that I want, to actually build an hourglass body, to look really fit, toned, and defined, and get the results that I wanted. And it was at that point that I decided I want to help other women. And that's when I started getting my certifications and, building up my own, getting my certifications, first of all, was the first thing. And then, starting working with women. And then I eventually left my career in sales and marketing to start my own coaching business. Now, once I reached my goal, the final thing was that I didn't stay in a dieting phase. Once I reached my goal, what I needed to do is I needed to reverse back out of my diet. So, I was in a calorie deficit to lose the body fat and get into the best shape of my life. and I was, I got very lean. And then I had to reverse back out of my diet after that. So basically, that meant I was slowly increasing my calories, still working out and training with progressive overload training, still building muscle. I noticed that, a lot of my biofeedback markers improved, because the thing is like when you're dieting, you might lose a little bit of strength, you might lose a little bit of energy because of the dieting. But I took a lot of dieting breaks. We did a lot of carb refeeds as well too, during that time frame, to help my energy stay level, and also create some hormonal balance again. So the last phase was just learning, what are my maintenance calories look like, because we can't stay in a calorie deficit forever. And that is how I learned how to maintain my physique. Okay. And then, I probably, after that, guys, I went into maybe like some, I built up more muscle. So I went into maintenance, but then I actually went into a muscle building phase. So I ate a little bit above maintenance calories, so I could put on some more lean muscle. Like I wanted more shoulder muscle. I wanted more muscle in my glutes. And that did mean that the scale did go up. Okay. It went up probably around 8 to 9 pounds within a 9-month period. And then when I was ready to do another photo shoot, I leaned out again. So you don't have to go into a muscle building phase. But however, I do recommend it, because, hey, the more muscle you have on your body, the more calories your body is burning at rest. And the more muscle you have on your body, the more, like, the better you look. And I was really proud of myself, because when I go back and look at like my first photos from my first photo shoot to my second photo shoot, you could see a huge significant difference in my glutes, and then also my legs as well too. Really huge difference between, my initial photo shoot and my second photo shoot. When I leaned out again, you could see a lot more muscle definition in my body. So there you have it, lady. That is the exact strategy. Now I am going to, next week, okay, so watch out, because next week I am going to be doing a masterclass. The masterclass is called How to Build an Hourglass Body and Own Any Room Over 40. Okay, this masterclass is for, I'm going to teach you a lot of secrets. Okay, I'm going to go more in depth of everything that we talked about, but I'm going to teach you effective exercise and nutrition strategies tailored for women over 40 to help you achieve and maintain an hourglass figure. I'm going to teach you how to exude confidence in every room you enter, leveraging your physical presence to enhance your leadership. And I'm going to help you understand the science behind body composition and how it affects your overall look and feel. Okay. So this is for women in leadership roles over 40. So if you're a manager, supervisor, CEO, COO, president, VP, doctors, head of departments, directors, team leaders, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, business owners, you want to attend, because I know in my own experience, when you take care of your health and fitness, when you are confident in your body, you are going to show up with confidence in everything else that you're doing. So if you are a professional looking to boost your confidence and presence, and if any woman over 40 interested in enhancing your body composition and physical appearance. So I'm doing this masterclass next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're on my email list, look out for that. I'm also going to post it in my Facebook group as well too. So if you guys want to sign up for it, please come and join the masterclass next week, Tuesday, June the 11th at 7 p.m. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining. I don't think there were any questions or anything like that. It's weird because last week when I did this, I went back and saw all of these comments, but like, it's not coming up for me right now. So if you did leave a comment, I'm sorry, it's not coming up right now. But there you have it. I hope you enjoyed my story, where I am, how I've done things. And, I love sharing what I'm doing with all of you, and I'm always learning. And right now I'm getting certified to be a coaching menopause specialist as well too. because you know, I'm learning, I'm always evolving, and that is my commitment to you as my clients, as my community, that I'm always going to level up and share the newest strategies for fat loss and how to build an hourglass body. So I hope all of you can join me next week. Bye for now, guys. Have a great day. Bye.